to another episode. Okay, yeah. Welcome to another episode, and I'm Groovy Lou.
And I'm Easy Mo.
That's
Welcome
good,
to another
Mo.
edition of
Good.
Nerdaricans.
That's good. So, Mo, how was your weekend?
Man, where do I begin, man? It started Thursday, which
Okay.
is usually a school night for me, because I work for a living besides this.
Yeah.
But I was invited to check out this nerdy event, but it was like I didn't think nothing of it. I mean, the title kind of gave me a hint, but it was not. I mean, it was so much more than I ever hoped and dared to dream. I went to what was called Hotsy Totsy Burlesque, and the theme was Marvel versus DC. And I'm gonna tell you, I was like at first like burlesque. I'm like, I'm like, okay. But when I sat there and I watched this show, and it was a show. It was nicely done. They had a good story opening as to the purpose of how these heroes and villains came about together. And I have to say, it was so tastefully done. The music for every performer that went on was, it was so good. As I mentioned before, like one of the characters in there who played Poison Ivy, she was doing her routine to the song Britney Spears' "Toxic." And let me tell you, it's like forget the fact that she's doing a burlesque, and let me tell you, it was so hypnotizing and watching them do their thing. But I was like, I was like, it was only like for one in particular, and I have to say, she was captivating from the beginning she walked on to the moment she walked off, and she was doing Winter Soldier. I don't even remember the music. I just remember her presence. It was like one of those things that you just left there and estaba embobado. I was like, I was like, cierra la boca, okay. Because it was that mesmerizing. She was beautiful. Her poise. Tell you what, folks, we're gonna bring them on and we're gonna have a show with them, just so that you know, because they are something to watch. And if you go to Hotsy Totsy Burlesque online, look them up. They have other shows coming up. One in particular is an anime show, and one in particular that I'm going to definitely check out in October is the Scooby-Doo Supernatural mashup. I can't wait to see that one, just to see how they put that one together. And then Saturday, I was working with Charles. This is after dark, so get your babysitters, for your kids, because they can't come to this. No, okay? Because then you got a lot of explaining to do after the fact, okay? But as I was saying, Saturday, I got the opportunity to help Charles with the LDM 8th Annual Music Awards, Radio Music Awards, excuse me. And it was fun, being behind and helping out with the technical stuff, but also looking at all these artists, and listening to their songs. I'm saying to myself, why aren't these people mainstream at this point? But it is mainstream. But I'm talking about like they should be auditioning for The Voice, or they should have record deals. I mean, yes, they're their own artists, but these guys, I mean, their music is amazing.
Was it
Amazing, to say the least.
was it original music or
Yes, all original music, nothing that was remade or remixed. No, these people were singing original songs. I think one of the presentations I did was for Pop, and Coy, I think was his name, and he won. And his song, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was a tribute to his mom. Was so heartfelt. Choi, thank you. Choi was his name, and let me tell you, that song, the song that he sang, it hits you here, bro. It's so powerful. It's so resonating that you listen to it and it invokes emotion. That's the kind of music that I like to hear. Something that just makes you feel, helps you, it gets you to relate to it. Whether you're feeling the same thing or not, but it hits you here and that's it, bro. You're already like, you're done. You're part of it. As I always say, when it comes to music, if it don't make you drink or don't make you cry like a weeping sob, it's not, or if it doesn't remind you of like someone in the past, someone in the present, somebody that's connected to your life, this one from Choi was definitely one of those songs that resonated with you no matter what.
Nice.
All the performers were great. They were great. Even ones that were not nominated, that were there performing as well. And I was like, wow. I was like, whoa. There was one called Voice, and he had been on a 2-year layaway, if I'm not mistaken, where he was sitting, taking it easy, and up there, and he was singing and performing. And even when we talked afterwards, I was nervous as hell. It's like, I would have never have seen that from your performance in itself. I mean, it was not. I mean, he didn't miss a step. His voice was in tune. I mean, he had a great voice and a great song, and I was surprised that he was telling me he was nervous as hell, and even he felt like he made some mistakes. Like, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything that would be considered, in my point, view, a mistake. If anything, great performance, all of them. Great performance, all of them, and congratulations to the winners too on their awards. I mean, from what I heard, well-deserved awards.
You know what? I'm gonna perform next year. I'm gonna have a group, and it's gonna be Meals on Wheels. They're all gonna be wheelchair people, and it's gonna be dope.
And let me guess, you're gonna go on the road. No pun intended.
We're gonna go on the road. There you go. Yo, bro, you jumped on that good. Yeah.
I had to. You left it open, bro.
Yeah. That'll be dope. Yeah.
Then I look forward to next year on the 9th annual show to see your ass rolling in with your group.
Yes.
All right.
We're gonna be called the battery chargers.
Oh wow. Okay. See, you said it, so I'm gonna just let that ride because that's on you, bro. And me, I'd been like, hey, why you say that?
No. Yeah, no.
You did it. Yes. You did it. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent.
You family.
And now for today's Nerd Bochinche. First, this is the week for 2 shows having season finales.
Spoiler alerts.
Spoiler alerts ahead, so cover your ears. We don't know what's happening in the last episode, but we know what's happening as far as this episode that passed. If you haven't seen it, que te mando para listening to us, okay? But otherwise, la all the way if you want to. Oh, wow. Acolytes. I have to say, this particular episode that passed filled in a lot of gaps within, I think, episode 3, when the Jedi first came upon the witches. Yes. And they wanted to see Osha and May. And then that whole event that happened afterwards, was kind of like sketchy, iffy. Sketchy and iffy.
I just had a problem with it.
Which is?
They should have done it an episode or 2 before.
I'm going to agree with you on that only because, I'm not a fan. I'm really not becoming a fan of these 10 episode seasons. I'm more of a 20 episode series guy. Yes. It's like it gives time to develop that. If you had like maybe 3 more episodes, and let's say instead of it being 8, let's say it was 12. Yes, bring that in, put it into an episode, even if you put it into 2 parts, and blend that so that way we have an understanding. I'm like at this point. When I see all the missings, like, okay, so Mama died, and we see that as far as their abilities are concerned, they have the ability to rearrange matter, to create, like really create from nothing using the Force. Because when those 2 were just dissipating into dust, and what they were doing, I was like, wait a second. I think which one of these women are real to begin with? Then are they real? Are they energy? What are they? Because with the Force, I'm like,
They're stretching it with the Force, though. They really are.
They are.
If they keep this up, Star Wars is going to go downhill fast.
Well, they are, and then again, it's all in the storytelling as to what they're stretching. So remember, we had that discussion when you asked me. It's like, what do I prefer, the light or the dark? Yes. I said neither, because quite frankly, as even Obi-Wan said it in was it Return of the Jedi, when Luke was speaking to him about his father, and he was saying, well, you said that Darth Vader destroyed my father. Well, and his explanation was, well, that's just an explanation from a certain point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So now, fast forward to the acolytes, okay, and the fact that you know you have to ask, was the Republic, the Republic is not so angelic.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
you're right. You're right. As far as here in the private chat, I think the more they try to put so much together, will make it too much to take in versus make more episodes to help, but more on some stories, which I agree. It's like should I mean if you're gonna make it a short season, be like a 10 or 12 or 15 season, somewhere between there. So at least you have time to tell the story, boom, put in your surprises, but tell it in full, but don't throw so much that we're like, what?
yeah,
Yeah, because like I said, this episode filled in the blanks that if you took the two together and put it as a part one, part two, and give the different perspective, like what was that movie? I keep forgetting the name of it, but it had to deal with a point of view. The same how you call it explosion in the middle of the town square, but every time they roll back to the next person and their point of view of what they saw. And then when that part was over, they turned it to another character whose point of view was watching the same thing, but from a different perspective as to what was going on with them when that happened. If
that
they
was
did something like that,
Bullet Train.
I would no, it was a different one because this was not on the train.
It was,
This was in somewhere in Rome, I think, or in Italy, where there was an event happening, and it was in the middle of a town square where a lot of people were there, and an explosion was about to happen or did happen. But the thing is, each time they restarted, like when one character, depending if they died or they lived, when that section of their history of what they saw finished, it jumped into another character. Same thing, but they saw things from a different angle. Seeing the same thing but different perspectives.
right.
That episode 1 and 2 should have been that. Like first the perspective of the witches, then the perspective of the Jedi.
Now, do you
That's how
agree?
they should have done it.
Do you agree with what the Jedi did? They
No.
kind of interfered
Well,
without knowing the full story. They weren't going
well,
to sacrifice those little girls.
yeah, they weren't. They
No.
were not. But one made a choice,
Yes.
and that's where Mother decided to give her that choice.
Yeah.
In light of the fact that if they find out where they came from, then there's going to be a lot of explaining to do, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, you think of it as this way. The Jedi and the Jedi Council are the establishment, and the witches are the little people. And they came there first to investigate why this planet is thriving when it was supposed to be dead, and somehow something to do with the Force made this all happen. And then they find out there's a colony, and then these are force sensitive witches, and then these two children. But there are no men, just a lot of women, two girls, two children, no men. How did they came about? Inquiring minds wants to know. And then the one Jedi who was fearing
Well,
fear that they're being abused or hurt.
well, Palpatine said that he kind of created Vader. Well, it's not said, but it's kind of hinted. He kind of created Anakin because he was born from nothing. He was born. She gave birth to him, but no father.
These two were born from something other than a biological mating of male and female.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
the thing, because they stated it in the very beginning. How did this come about? And they had mentioned that with the Force, there's a convergence, so to say, that can be made to create life.
Yes.
So in essence, that's what they were hinting, as far as even the other one telling her mother that, and what are you going to do when they find out where they really came from? So there's a convergence, something about what they did. And so watching them turn into I don't know, matter or dust or whatever, even though one Jedi was able to kill her with the saber because she was like half in, half out, and she died. And then another one either disappeared or also suffered the same fate. I don't remember.
No, she disappeared.
She disappeared.
Yeah.
And then the others died because they had taken over the mind of the Wookiee. And what's her name? Kate Moss's character just used her ability to force it back upon them, thereby either they popped their brains and had a brain embolism or whatever, but all died from that force feedback
Yeah.
that she threw back at them. So again, are they wrong? Yes, because again, one Jedi who feels that their one life is threatened or both lives are threatened, you let, as they said, you let fear take over your judgment.
Yep.
And at that moment, you only have really yourself to blame, because I look at them as defending themselves, defending their way of life. The council is the council, but quite frankly, they were out of their jurisdiction and borders at this point. They had no right to do what they did. But from a certain point of view, seeing that they were force sensitive, they wanted to give the opportunity, or make it seem like they want to give the opportunity for the kids, one of them at least, to join our ranks as their their way of expanding their benevolent ways of the Jedi.
What I don't agree with is that this takes place 100 years before the A New Hope.
Yeah,
Yoda should still be on Coruscant.
he should be.
Matter of fact, it
But
takes
I
place
don't think
100 years before Phantom Menace.
Right. So he should be, but he's not part of the council, or he's not part of the council yet, because when they had the council, all I saw was, green and bald headed. That's it.
Yeah,
I didn't see anybody else.
She should have been there. He should have.
There should have. I mean, well, no, Mace would be he would be too young at that time.
Yeah,
He'd be too young at the time.
100 years before, he's not even born.
Yeah, he's not even born. So you're right about that. So again, you had one that was there, and he was there and the council in the future when they were discussing matters. So there was one present that as far as his species was concerned, he was alive even in the future presence of the Phantom Menace. He was there as part of the Jedi Council. Now, that being said, again, why? It's like, of course that the council wasn't there and they were trying to give guidance, but at that time, whoever was in charge of the mission should have put that Jedi in his place and stop him from letting his emotions get the best of him, which is what he did. Good intentions or not, it's still you getting overzealous at that moment and fearing for something that, even though it became true, but it became true because the situation was forced. It had to happen all of a sudden.
Kate Moss's character was in charge of that mission, so she should have.
Yes. Should have rained on him some more. Just pull him back and say, no, that's an order. If not, go back to the ship.
All that could have been prevented.
All of it. All the needless suffering and death. The fact that he decided, it's like, okay, I understand. You're using the force. You're keeping the scaffold up. You're holding up both. And in some ways, to me, it looked like he made a choice. He could have saved both. He could have. I mean,
but he chose Osha.
Yeah, he chose Osha. He let the other one die.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. Well, I mean, wow, he let that one. I mean, you couldn't hold it up, really? I mean, you could have just either grabbed both of them and threw it towards you. It wasn't like you were that far away, I agree. And I'm like, a lot of this is not, not sitting well with me. It's like I was telling you before, a choice, light or dark is a matter of perspective as far as where do you stand, as far as a moral compass is concerned.
Yes.
Powers aside, we've already been demonstrated that a Jedi's power, no matter what, is neither light or dark. If you have electricity, boom, you have it. It's not a dark side power. It's just a power. That's it. Just like these witches have the power to manipulate minds, have the power to rearrange matter and push people away. You know, who knows what else they could have done because they manipulated the Force in a different way. Are they
Yeah,
wrong? No, they're just protecting their way of life. Is where I see it.
yeah, but 100 years ago, the Jedi were idiots.
Yeah. Well,
And where the hell did they come off breaking lightsabers? How come that isn't done now?
That's another one. Breaking lightsabers. I mean, I don't know, bro. That one got to me. I think I think it has the power to bring out the real you. If deep inside you are bad, that will come out. This is true. I will get. You know what?
Yeah,
To a
to an
certain
extent.
to a certain extent, I'm going to agree with that because if you look at the example with Sidious, Sidious was playing with Anakin. He knew what buttons to push. He knew how to drive him and push him over the edge. And
Yeah,
then his fear, his anger took over. And then from that point, Vader was born. From that point forward, because now there's no logical reasoning. There is only the fear and the anger, that the Jedi was putting him in. Say don't love, don't this, don't have any attachments, don't. A lot of don'ts, but as far as the dark side was concerned, yeah, you could have that. Why? Why can't you? You're a living being who feels. Why can't you? I'm not, like I say, I'm not advocating either side, but I understand both. I do understand it, and like Obi-Wan said it in Return of the Jedi when he talked to Luke about his own dad. It's like from a certain point of view.
yeah,
There you go. It's a certain point of view. There's never, to me, there's no light, there's no dark. It's just a point of view. Sidious wanted to take over the galaxy. He wanted to rule it with an iron fist, but in his rule, he wanted to make it so he bring peace to the galaxy. But peace comes with a cost. The cost is being under his thumb and under his rule. So yeah, no, that's why you have a rebellion. But then when they reform a republic, they're no better. You know, they're no better. I mean, yeah,
yeah.
they're trying to help people, but at the same time, they're instituting rules that they themselves should have sat down and really took a second thought about it, including the Jedi Council. They should have sat down and took a second look at what they were doing. Not thinking, it's like if you're going to say it was the will of the Force, give me a break. It is your will and your determination that this had to happen. Not
Mm-hmm.
because the Force willed you to do it. No, I'm sorry. It's like terrorists saying infidels and committing suicide runs, and for the sake of saying that the infidels must pay because they go against God or they go against Allah, and then they blow themselves up, taking people with them. They're not being any different, you know. That's why Order 66 was something that the Empire needed to happen in order to, insinuate their rule, but without the Jedi in their way.
Yeah.
Which is, like I said, it's hard to take a side because each one in some way have been extreme and have done things for the sake of their morality. I mean, I can't say as far as Sidious taking over, but his morality says that in order to bring peace, everybody has to be under control.
Order 66 was the last good thing that came out of Star Wars. Because after that, it all went downhill. Breaking lightsabers and passing lightsabers from one side of the thing to another person. Get the hell out of here. Get.
That again, the Force is nothing more than an invisible energy field that there are some people who are more in tune to it than others.
Yeah, but
Uh,
by them transporting a lightsaber to a whole other person in a whole other room, that's now
yeah,
teleport. That's now teleporting.
yeah.
That wasn't good.
Again, as even Sidious says, on the dark side, there are abilities that are unnatural. So that's an unnatural ability. But it's not to say that it's a dark side ability. It's just an ability. If someone knows how to manipulate that, then anything is possible. It's like Plagueis manipulating time and trying to become immortal. You die when you're supposed to die, but if you can use the Force to manipulate yourself to a longer lifespan, you're going to.
Wouldn't it be disappointed if what Plagueis was talking about living is actually the Force ghost? That would be so disappointing too.
Well, like I said, it's up to the writers to see what happens for this last episode, how they're going to put this all together. Because, I mean, this particular Sith has not revealed this master yet, and we're all waiting to find out who that master is.
Oh man, I'm hoping it's Plagueis.
Go, you and me both. But like I said, it's going to be a hell of a surprise when it happens. I hope it's one of those that, how can I say it? I hate to say it, a freaking cliffhanger that has people, it's like it kicks you in the gun. You go, oh, what? And it's like, wait, I got to see season 2. I have to see season 2 now. And that kind of thing.
Not for nothing, since we have a little bit of time left before we go to commercial.
Mm-hmm.
In the Darth Vader show that's coming out, they need to mention Plagueis. They need to bring back Palpatine also. They cannot all just be Darth Vader. They have to bring back those Palpatine at least.
Have to. And I mean, the story, this story is not complete without one or the other, especially Sidious. Yes. Especially Palpatine as Sidious, because remember, he created him. Like you said, he did create him. And at that point, it gives it the whole thing about it. It's going to
be shown enough.
There you go. The Shogun of Harlem. Kiss my Converse. And with that, we're going to go to break. And we're going to come back. And then we're going to talk about the boys. Because they got some stuff going on, bro. Also, their final season, their season ender also happening this week. So
is it the final season?
Not the final season. There's talks of it, but I think there's going to be one more. They say this is it, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure it is. But I know the season ender is coming up.
Really?
And this is it. Yeah, there's one more. This is the last episode coming up. And
do you feel it deserves another season?
Hell yeah. I think it deserves one more season. At least one more season.
What's the other show that spin off it? There's a spin off, right?
Oh yeah, Gen V.
Yeah, you saw it?
Gen V. Oh, yes. Yes. There are moments in that I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is both shows, have that thing where you sit there. It's like, is that what I think it is? Is that real? And then death scenes are gruesome and brutal.
Worse than
bro. Brutal.
Worse than The Boys?
I think it's right up there, bro. It is right up there. So there's some stuff in there. There's some stuff in there that I'm just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Really? Oh yes. There are things I don't think I can say on this show that if you watched it, Gen V, and it's first, you're gonna be like, oh, what? Oh, no, that did not happen. And don't rewind it, because trust me, you're gonna need therapy and a lot of liquor to get over what you saw.
Well,
a lot of liquor.
There's about 5 seconds left to a commercial break, Mo.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be right back after these important break commercials.
All right. Bye. Welcome back to
Welcome.
another edition. To another edition of Nerdicans. I'm Easy Mo.
I'm Groovy Lou.
So now to now the second part of our show,
The
and that
boys.
is the boys. And I have to tell you, bro. So far, I'm
Spoiler
just like,
alerts.
well, yo, cover your ears, la 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 la. They're coming. I mean, this one is this season is like, yo, it's almost like on the brink of the end because that's where this is leading to. Because there's Homelander in his effort to get people to love him or whatever for his psychosis and stuff. Found a hero who is considered to be the smartest person on the planet. That's her power. V made her smart. So they've drummed up this plan in which they were going to get rid of the president, put somebody else in its place, and then pretty much subjugate the United States. Internment camps, the whole 9 yards, bro. I mean, Homelander is going all out for this. And I'm like, whoa. And of course, you have the inside stories like for instance Butcher. I mean, he already had was it Temp V from last season. They told him that he used too much of it, but it means you're gonna die soon, and that's what he's going through at this moment. But in between, he said that he tried to counteract it by taking some real V, and so question now becomes: is he gonna? I mean, he looks like he's gonna die, or is he going to die, or is he going to transform into something? Because I don't know what. There's a scene in which they were infiltrating, what you would call it, the Seven's announcement with these new characters and try to interrupt the show. But Butcher got busted by Ezekiel, who's a what's it called, a soup Mr. Fantastic wannabe preacher. Best I could say because he could stretch and stuff. And it looked like he almost had Butcher downfall and then passes out, wakes up. Ezekiel is torn apart into 1,000 pieces, literally 1,000 pieces, torn apart. He has no idea what's going on. But you see this thing like going about in his head. I'm like, ooh, what the hell is that? So that's a mystery in itself going on. And then A-Train has a change of heart. Yeah, he's part of the Seven, but I don't think he's in it to do the world domination like everybody else is. So at some point, they managed, huh?
As a person who's never watched The Boys, which I will, who are the bad guys and are their powers just as cool as The Boys?
In this world, heroes are created really through a chemical called Compound V. Okay. And Compound V was created by the company called Vought. So Vought is a big, I would say international conglomerate company. I mean, they got their hands in everything. But they also have 7 of the most, I would say, the strongest heroes. Leading them, of course, is the strongest one they have, Homelander. And then when he was born, they were pumping him full of, Compound V back in the days when they were experimenting it. And so, he's like Superman, laser eyes, flight, strength, speed, he can hear, so he can see through. He's got the vision, X-ray vision. So he's their version of Superman. Very powerful, very tough to take on. And then the others are also, all the heroes or soups, as you want to call them, are those who have been exposed to Compound V. And Compound V turned them into whatever ability they possess. Like the Deep is a version of Aquaman, and his gills are on his ribs there. But he also talks, he talks to fish. And yes, he has a fish lover.
All right.
Yes. All I gotta say, I think it's season 3, and when you see it, you'll never look at calamari the same way again. These are people like persons having the force. Uh, it's get to their heads and then they become bad or become good. Yes and no. It is a compound, and some, you know, through Vought have exposed it to mothers who were pregnant. You know, like in the movie Scanners, they gave, you know, the ephemeral, and the ephemeral had a side effects. It created telepathic scanners. Well, Compound V, same thing. It created soups. So these kids were born with abilities, but the abilities vary, and of course, through their upbringing, will determine pretty much if they're, you know, bad or good. You know, you never know. All I can say is that once some of them aspire to become what they call the seven, which is the top seven superheroes. That's, you know, that's the name of the group, headed by, of course, Homelander. You have the Deep, you have Black Noir. This, of course, in this season, Black Noir was gutted last season by Homelander. Again, boys lost his mind, and this new one is a lot different.
Somebody wrote, why did they want to make them four?
Well, why do they want to make them? Because they represented a means to an end as far as combating crime. And but the thing is, as they say, they're out of, well, Homelander, he's out of control. You know, certain things, you know, can keep him at bay, but that's, you know, that's like, for instance, like exposing him as a fraud, of the fraud hero. And so he doesn't want that because he thrives and lives on the adulation of the people. You know, the more they're cheering him, the more, and for lack of a better saying, he gets off on it. He just does. So that's him. The others pretty much, excuse me, fall in line because half of them are terrified as to what Homelander will do to them should they defy his rule. You know, so they, you know, he pretty much is keeping the rest of them in line, very much so. But it is sick. It's twisted, and there are times that you go, "What did I just see?" I mean, there have been many times in this show or in its seasons where I was like, "What?" And only one time I was stupid enough to go, "Let me see that again." And then it happened again. And I said, "Why did I do that to myself, bro?" Because let me put it this way: there are scenes in there that, trust me when I say, there is not enough drugs and alcohol to wipe that out of your brain. It is like what Billy Butcher says. It's diabolical, mate. Diabolical. And what the things that they put through there, man, it is brutal. You know, the death scenes are brutal beyond. Yo, I read. I said, you know what? Let me find out more because I knew it was a graphic novel, and I got the first one, and I'm like, what? The graphic novel is more graphic than the show, and that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot, bro. Okay,
Okay.
you get your first taste of it from the first season when I tell you Huey and his girlfriend, and I'm gonna leave it at that, bro.
Now, my question to you:
Shoot.
the boys. There are seven main characters, correct?
No, there are seven main characters of the superheroes. The boys are the opposite. They're the anti-heroes or the anti-crew against the soups. So you got Butcher, Huey, Mother's Milk, Frenchie, Starlight's on board, and man, I forgot the Asian girl's name. But she doesn't speak, but not because she's truly mute. Something such psychological happened to her, so she doesn't talk. The only soups on there in that group is Starlight and again the Asian chick. I can't remember her name right now, but those two, like for instance, with the Asian, her powers are regeneration. So in other words, cut off a limb, a new limb grows back. She has strength, she has speed, she can rip you apart with her bare hands. But if you think you killed her, guess again. she comes back. She regenerates. She's kind of like Wolverine, without the claws,
So
without the adamantium.
my question to you is,
Mm-hmm.
would you compare or put against any of the mainstream heroes?
Ooh, okay. Um, I would say that if I had them, I mean, of course, I always see it online a lot, and yeah, I would definitely, if I had to then say mainstream heroes, of course, Homelander should meet the anti-Homelander, which would be Superman, Kal-El, and let them have it out to see who lasts the longest. But there was an article just recently put out that I read regarding Superman, which became totally true. And one of the issues, it shows that Superman exposure to sunlight changes his power levels, because we always kept on saying, "Oh, he's got this ridiculous strength," but so it was proven now that yes, his exposure to sunlight does changes his level of strength. So if I had to give it the edge, definitely Superman over Homelander. Heat vision, everything equal, but the thing is with Homelander, he's one level, powerful level, but he doesn't get any stronger than that. Whereas Superman, if he punched him up to, if he could breathe in space and say they fought near the sun, Homelander's done for, because the closer and the more exposure to the sun, the stronger Superman's going to become. They've already shown that. They've already, documented that's the case in certain instances where he had this massive level of strength, because on that day the solar radiation level was high. Well, if they fight in the night, it's almost the same thing. The only difference is if they go out, like Superman can fly out into space. That goes without saying. So if he took the fight out into space, the sun is right there.
The sun is
He's
always
exposed.
there,
It's always there. He's always exposed.
but he's
There
also
was
like a what are
He's a
those
solar
things?
battery. He's
Yeah,
like a
he's
literally solar
exactly,
battery. There
yes.
was there was a Dark Horse comic in which they pit Superman against aliens, and he was at a different planet
I
away
got that
from the
book.
sun. And the thing is, the further away or the less time he's exposed to the sun, his powers start to diminish. Not all at once, just slowly. So in his battle against the aliens, at one point, one of them, the face hugger, caught him and put an embryo in him.
Mm-hmm.
So now he has an embryo in him. In the end, he managed to get away from them, save whoever, stop them wherever they were at, and he was coming back to Earth, in which then now he was exposed to the sunlight. So instead of the chest breaker breaking out of his chest, because the sunlight gives him his power, it also heightens his immune system to the point where his Kryptonian immune system attacked the embryo and just literally destroyed it from the inside.
No, it came
So
out.
never came out.
Yeah, I got the issue. It came out. There's somewhere out there.
A hybrid Kryptonian
yeah,
alien.
yeah,
I saw the opposite. You're gonna have to show me that.
yeah. The alien book. Yeah, in the alien book, I read it. Yeah, it
If
actually
that was
popped
the
out.
same one, I saw it just like go, and that was it. Nothing came out.
No, it gave the assumption that something came out.
The
It
assumption.
actually
Okay, I
showed.
gotta read that one again then, because
Yeah.
I was pretty sure that didn't happen.
Yeah, I think I read that. Yeah, I read the book. Yeah.
So, aside from that, if I had to put Homelander against someone, definitely be Superman. If Black Noir, I would have said Wolverine,
Okay.
because
Why?
because their fighting abilities, they're both fighters. They both use weapons, but the thing is, Wolverine is a weapon because of his claws and his
Okay.
healing factor, and he does have strength. So against Noir, you know, could he could is he impervious? You don't know. Well, I already know last one, so that's definitely a no. Could he give him a good fight with with his skill? He's got speed, agility, and strength. So it would be fun to watch how those two match up against each other. But in the end, I'm giving it to Wolverine, because those claws are gonna get him, and then he's done. Noir against Noir against Ocean Master. I put him up against Ocean Master. Forget Aquaman, Ocean Master. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
it would be even with Aquaman because yeah, they both talk to fish or whatever and stuff, and of course, they can swim as deep as they come, fast as they come in the water. But when it comes down to it, the scepter is the difference between the two. He don't carry a scepter. He doesn't have any weapon. And after watching him fight like Starlight in this last episode here of the boys, I'm like, okay, he can take a punch. He can, he could dish some. But if you grab him by the gills, he's screwed, bro. He's like a little little puto right now. He's done. But that means that's your shortcut to ending him in that respect. But otherwise, let me see who else. Black Noir, uh, the Brain. I mean, she's not much. I mean, she's just a brain. That's it. Yeah,
So
you
the
shoot her in
Brainiac.
the head, but no, she's a brain. But the thing is, you shoot her right, then she becomes stupid. But then the bullet expels because that's the only part of her body that heals. That's it. She's super intelligent. We're talking about genius level, beyond genius level. You shoot her in the head because she's not impervious, but the brain is the only part of her body that heals. So cut the head off, you're done. And that's it. It's like unless it can grow a new body, which it doesn't, she's done. I
Yeah.
think anyone could do that. Could do that to her. Anyone. Um, Sparkle. She isn't anything. I mean, she does this and she got a sparkle. Wow.
So
Really.
she's the Jubilee version.
No, Jubilee would definitely beat her out because that's all she is. She sparks it. That's it. She's got a spark. Yeah, she's got some strength to her, but okay. So if I put her up against Jubilee, I'm pretty sure Jubilee is going to take her out because Jubilee can manifest and change her fireworks, which is just energy. She's already turned them into blades where they cut something off. So as far as she's concerned, head, parts of the body, boom, she's in pieces. Done. Give it to the kid Jubilee. She's done for. I mean, some of them are tough. A Train's probably maybe the toughest one because he's a speedster.
Mm.
But unlike any other speedster, like if I put him against the Flash, I would say A Train. Maybe Flash will beat him in speed, but as far as strength is concerned and some invulnerability, A Train has. So that's kind of a plus. So if he was just to land one blow, one very hard blow, okay, speedster done. If he just grabs him, breaks his legs, he could do it with one punch. Boom, he's done. Barry is done. So speed would have to be in his favor, and that's probably the only edge he may have over A Train. That's the only
Okay.
thing I can think of. But yeah, if you put him against the mainstream, that's what you see. But I'm loving. Just getting back to this season, uh, it is crazy because a couple of seasons ago they introduced Homelander's son. In other words, he didn't know that he wound up fathering a child.
Okay.
And so, but this child, now becoming an early teen, has now developed, the same abilities as his dad. So he has the speed, he has the strength, he has the laser eyes. But the only thing is, he still has retaining some of his innocence as a kid because of his mother. Even though his mother died, and then the Homelander took over, there were some instances that you would see it like it teeter totters as far as him trying to connect with his dad, but at the same time he remembers his mother's teachings. So it's going like this. Last episode, it was leaning more of his mother's teachings than anything else because it was crazy what he was almost starting to do with his dad's influence on him, and then he just he turned it around.
Okay.
So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen as far as this episode is concerned coming up.
This is
I
the season
mean,
finale.
oh yeah, the season finale. I mean, I hope it's not the series finale because I do think there might be maybe one more left in it to actually, if they wanted to close out the series, they should at least give it one more season,
Mm.
one more. Close them out, give all the characters whatever the just do endings, and then boom, ended. But if it's going to happen here, it's going to be. I'm be interested in seeing how they're going to do it. For who? If they made them, does that mean they have the means to destroy them? Yes and no.
Good question.
Yes and no, because they created Homelander, but at this moment, Homelander doesn't have a weakness. He's not showing any kind of weakness whatsoever. They've ganged up on him at one time. Matter of fact, Butcher, in his attempts to try and kill Butcher, he took the Temp V, and he had temporarily his powers, with the exception of flight, but he had laser eyes, super strength, and he got into it with him, but it was almost a dead even thing. He wasn't, not. It didn't have it over the edge to actually kill him. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, last year they created this weapon that, spoiler alert, wound up being Homelander's dad, Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy was played by Jensen Ackles, formerly of Supernatural. Now, he was Soldier Boy like in the late 40s, but then was disappeared off the face of the earth. Well, the thing is, he was put to cryogenic sleep, and then they experimented on him. He's probably the only one that could defeat Homelander, because when he came out, their experimentation on him gave him, super strength, invulnerability, plus an ability to channel a form of energy that comes out of him that takes away the soup's ability altogether.
Hmm.
So if they had Homelander tied down long enough, like in one scene it looked like it, and he was trying to channel the energy, but Homelander at one point managed to break free, and fly away, and that was it. But in the instances that Soldier Boy used his beam, a lot of soups lost their powers. If you're watching any of the series, there's going to be one, and I'm only going to tell you the name of the episode, Herogasm, and I'm not going to explain it. Let your mind wander, but I'm telling you, the day you see it, you will never be the same. You will never be the same ever again. I'm telling you, when I saw this, I was like, I'm speechless on the stuff that I was watching. I was like, yo, these people don't hold nothing back. And like I said, the graphic novel is more graphic than the show. And when you see it, and when you watch the show yourself, you're going to be like, the graphic novel couldn't be that. No, it is. It is more graphic than the show. I never thought that until I read it. I was like, wow. Que brutal. Brutal. I'm telling you, I never thought I would ever say that. Man, season 3, the first half hour, that was my mistake. I watched that scene twice, and it had to do with a gay couple, and they're being intimate and stuff. And then one of them was a soup, and his ability was to shrink like Ant-Man. He could
I
shrink.
saw the trailer for that.
He shrunk down. Really shrunk down, and did something that at first I was like, what the? And then I'm like, I did like the monkey from the Second Planet of the Apes. Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! All I gotta tell you is this is what happened. Achoo!
Yeah.
And all I did was like the monkey. Oh no! Oh no! There's a lot of that. There's a lot of moments in that show, in every season, that's just gonna make you do that. Just repeat it again. Just go, oh no!
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it.
No! Okay, I'm gonna tell you now. I want just to tell you. I warned you.
Yeah,
You come to me, start going, oh no! Oh no! I mean, like, yeah, ¿quién está mandando? ¿Quién está mandando? Sigue mirando. Keep watching. And Gen V is no different. Oh, Gen V is no different. No different. They had scenes in there that I was like, no, that didn't happen. That did not happen. And I was tempted to rewind, but I was like, no. Thank God for scene clips into the next episode where they say previously on Gen V. And then they showed that part again. I said, okay, I didn't watch that part again. But hey, I saw it, and it did happen. I mean,
I'm gonna watch it. You're gonna expect a lot of phone calls from me.
All I know is that the only thing you need to tell me is like the monkey. Oh no! Oh no! I'm telling you, it is just that. Wow! I'm like, wow! I was like, yeah, I don't think there's gonna be ever another show like that again. If there is, I'm like, and even if they continue with like Gen V after the boys are done, I'm like, wow. I mean, can you top any of that? I'm like, wow. It just right up there, bro. Right up there. This season, no different, bro. No different. I think it had more oh no scenes than I think 2 and 3, the first 3 combined. I'm serious. It was like,
And this
wow.
is this is season 5.
Yeah, man. Season 5. Season 4 was, as Butcher says, diabolical. It's diabolical, man.
Yeah.
Diabolical. That's all I gotta say. I've never been like, I'm like, wow, this is supposed to be a superhero film. After watching Superman and Lois, and seeing the Justice League and even the Avengers, I'm like, okay, and then I'm ready for this, and I'm like, what? What?
It's the way heroes should be.
No, it's just some of the scenes, bro. It's like, I'll tell you, once you watch the first season, all I gotta say is Huey and his girlfriend, and it's like that the rest of the way. When you see what I saw, I went like, huh? Get out of here. I even giggled like, that didn't happen. And I rewind and I was like, oh damn, oh no, oh no, that did happen. And that was it, bro. That was it. And then as it went on, I'm like, okay, that's just one scene. Then Rip Claw. Oh yeah, well, yeah, I'm not. No, I still get shaken up about it when I think about that scene with Rip Claw. I was like, happier ending. That was never a happy ending.
There's a Rip Claw, and I'm surprised they let it slide. There's a Rip Claw in Cyberforce.
Yeah, but this one is this one when you see her.
Huh? Okay.
Oh yeah, when you see it, you just go, damn, Rip Claw. And then after that scene, the happy ending, I'm like, no,
no mas.
Never, no, no. I'd rather be gay. This is one of those times. No, leave that alone. Leave that alone. No, you can keep it. I don't want it. It's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those scenes, bro. And then you just sit there, just like, I'm still shaking over it, bro. That's how messed up it made me, bro. It's like, and then after season 3, and then I thought I was looking for therapy. I'm actually looking for boys therapy. Just sitting there and just like, hi, I'm Mo. I just finished watching season 3 of The Boys. Serious. That's that kind of therapy you need. Erase that out of your brain, bro. That's something you just can't watch at all.
I'm gonna have to sit down and watch that now.
Okay.
Because it's like 5 people told me you're number 6. Yeah, I gotta watch it.
Okay. Pues, like, you call me, I'm like, pues, ¿qué te mandó? Pues lo que te coge. Sigue. Go to season 4. Go season 4, mira.
You're gonna be my therapist. You're gonna be my therapist.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay. Meals on Wheels. You're gonna be bringing a lot of meals for my time. I am telling you, bro. It is just that. I mean, and the storylines. The storylines are great. I love how it's leading up to this whole thing where they're trying to now get to the point where they're gonna take over everything, and now the boys have to do everything to get them. So with that. It's one of those things, bro. And that is the end of our show. Thank you again for tuning in. Stay tuned next time when we hear Meals on Wheels going, oh no, oh no. That's because he watched The Boys. Yes. Until next time, I'm Mo.
I'm Lou.
Stay safe and keep it clean. Live long and prosper.
Yeah, I thought you was making fun of my hands right there. But anyway, all right, well.